This is Switzer Network News. Most likely the items in your home or office came from overseas. Today's report focuses on the question, how those products got to you, and what is the impact on the environment and workers.
For you to purchase them required it to get on a container, on a ship, on a truck, on a train, to some distribution center, and then finally to you. But it has significant negative impacts on communities that all that distribution system runs through. Freight transportation, the way our goods move around, is really a system. So it's a system of ports and inland ports and trucks and trains and rail and bridges and tunnels and all the things that we think about as kind of just transportation assets. But they're really facilitating this broad kind of global trade system that wreaks havoc on our environment, our health, and our workers. Diesel is our biggest challenge. Diesel soot actually has created a tremendous amount of health problems, including respiratory problems, cardiovascular problems, low birth weight babies, and premature death, certainly. There's new studies that also show that air pollution is directly attributable to mental health illness and autism. What's happening now in the industry is that we're having some expansion of seaports, but there's also a growth of inland ports, which we don't think about as often. So Kansas City, Chicago, Houston, Texas is emerging as a big node of global trade. And that's starting to look like less ships, but more distribution centers. So think warehouses, intermodal rail facilities, trucks, lots and lots of trucks. There are some solutions. One is electrifying the system. Right? So instead of a dirty ship coming across the Pacific and sitting out there in the harbor, and they burn this fuel called bunker fuel, which is the highest sulfur, it's the most polluting. Instead of running the bunker fuel, retrofit the ships to be electrified. Electrify the terminals so that when they pull into the dock, they can actually plug in rather than continue to burn. So electrifying ports would be one thing, or electrifying trucks. There's truck trolleys now that exist where they run off of electrical lines, much like our Muni system in San Francisco, where trucks can jump on and off this electrical system. And so, for example, you might be able to run on electricity on lines through town in urban centers and then jump off it when you get out of urban centers. It's a very novel idea, but moving basically toward a zero emissions technology kind of approach. People have been pushing this for a long time. It's a wonderful way to, catalyze a green economic development strategy across the board, but also meet some real health needs in the communities. We're seeing a growing swell of capacity in these communities to actually figure out how to make goods movement and freight transport better in their neighborhoods. Many of these communities actually have come together in something that we're calling the Moving Forward Network. A network of community-based organizations, worker advocate organizations, lawyers, plus researchers and scientists who are doing public health. We've found this need to bring people together. People were hungry for information about how they could intervene in this industry. So we're trying to figure out a way to actually reframe the debate about how you do development related to global trade and how you distribute that freight through neighborhoods, essentially. There's many, many levels of authorities here that make it difficult to kind of bring the actors together to make change. But that's what's going to be necessary. I mean, both action at the federal level to inject health and worker and environmental standards into goods movement and commerce policies, as well as local efforts to actually protect land uses and think about how you arrange land so that our industries don't impact our neighbors.
Switzer Fellows are doing innovative and inspiring work. If you'd like to learn more, visit switzernetwork.org and then click on the News tab. I'm Jerry Kay.